Welcome to the Mindset Mutiny Podcast. I am your host, Mike Ivanov. Join me as we challenge the status quo, break free from self-imposed limits, and redefine what's possible. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today, we are going to talk about baseline. So I've been working with a lot of young guys. We've been doing some coaching, really focusing on mindset, and what keeps coming up is baseline. I always mention it, but I always need to make sure that I define what that is, because we are only as good as our baseline. Your baseline is your personal operating system. It is the bare minimum you execute every single day, no matter how you feel and no matter what life throws your way. It's not your peak. It's not your best day. It's your floor. It's your minimum. And most people, their floor is continually crumbling. Their baseline is receding. They're living in fucking chaos, reacting instead of executing. They've never really taken the time to define their baseline, let alone raise it. But if you want to evolve, if you want to really grow, you have to track the floor, not just chase the ceiling. I realized that 4 or 5 years ago. One day, it kind of hit me. And I was like, fuck. My baseline is everything. It's what I do without exception. It defines who I am without effort. At that time, my baseline was fucking trash. So I said, I got to find a way to move that baseline forward in a few attainable steps, right? So my minimum that I decided to enforce upon myself was to show up to work ready to grow and ready to crush it. And in addition, I was going to drink a gallon of water a day. That was it. That was the standard I set. That was my very minimum. Now, everybody's probably sitting there being like, hey, that's a great job, dude. You showed up to work with a positive attitude and you drank a gallon of water. Here's a fucking prize, bud. You got to start somewhere, man. You know, if I look at where I am today, you know, you can laugh as much as you want. But what it did is it taught me the steps I needed to take to continue to move that baseline up, right? So yeah, it started with showing up ready to grow with an open mind. Most people can't even show up to their job with an open mind ready to grow. So right off the bat, that's a huge bump in baseline. Just to show up, ready to raise the bar, ready to listen, ready to grow. And I said, all right, one more thing, I need to do something for my health. Not only do I need to have a better attitude, I need to do something for my health as well. So I'm going to drink a gallon of water a day without fail. And that's no easy task if you've ever tried it. But those were things I was going to do because I was in a shit spot. So I needed to do something. And those were two things I thought that were attainable, that I could at least focus on and lock in. All right. So that was my very minimum. And when I proved I could do it without fail, without compromise, even on the hardest, darkest, soul-crushing days, that's when I became stacking. So then I was like, all right, what more can I do? Because once you master consistency, right, the hunger for that consistency will follow. So I said, all right, I'm going to tighten my diet up. So I dial in the physical training. I forged my mind with relentless discipline. Every addition, it took time. It was hard. I didn't want to do it, right? All that shit that we all go through, right? Happens to me too. I may talk, here, make it look easy, but fuck, every single day is a struggle. But I lock it in. So I cement it as my new normal. This is who we are now. And then I relentlessly pursue the next level. It's that fucking simple. Pick a few things, lock them in, make them part of who you are, part of your identity, and then add more. And you just keep doing that, like compounding interest. Right? You don't just lock a few things and be like, all right, yep, we've arrived. All set. I'm drinking a gallon of water a day and I'm showing up at work with a good attitude. We're done. We're done here. All right, everybody pack their fucking bag. Give me a raise. Give me a fucking high five, a hug. Tell me how great I'm doing. No, fuck that shit. That's the beginning. That's like amateur hour, right? It's slow, man, but it's got to be sustainable. I have ruthlessly elevated my baseline at all costs. And now I'm sitting here 5 fucking years without missing a single day of drinking a gallon of water. Right? So at some point, it stops becoming about willpower and it becomes your identity. But you will get nowhere until you can master that consistency first. Then you earn the right to optimize. Then you earn the right to become obsessed. Optimizing is a whole different beast, right? It's a game for people that are absolutely relentless, the driven, okay? It's not for somebody that's just stepping in, right? So you got to be able to lock in these basics before you can start to optimize. And I'll tell you this right now. I am the fucking king of optimization, period. But before I get too far ahead, I got to get one thing clear. I have poured my entire life into deliberately stacking habits and ruthlessly locking them in. There's no accident that I'm sitting here talking to you. All right? This isn't luck. It's calculated. It's intentional. It's assault on mediocrity. I have a deliberate strategy to push my capacity higher, relentlessly raising my baseline over and over again. Open up your fucking ears. You can raise yours too. And if you're sitting here thinking, I don't need to raise my baseline, I don't want to be brutal, but stop being a fucking loser. Stop letting your ego tell you that you don't need to get better. We can all do better. At our highest points, there's still more to achieve. And you need to understand that nothing happens without intention. Nothing worthwhile just shows up. You have to master intentionality. And when you do, you can drop massive weight on yourself and you can still find a way through it. You can become unstoppable at accelerating your rate of adaptation, which in turn will catapult your growth. You can 10 times the rate at which you grow if you can learn to intentionally raise your baseline. You got to stop bailing on yourself when you start getting fucking overwhelmed. That's when you're growing. That's when you're starting to learn to lock these other things in. In the last 6 months, I have evolved at a rate that's got to be fucking 10 times faster than any previous stage in my life. That's a fact. It's undeniable. It's visceral. You can read my journals as fucking proof. And one day, I was telling somebody this the other day, I'm going to publish those fucking things. I got 5 years of journals of showing the map, plotting the course, and then showing my achievement of the things that I wrote down that I was going to do. But there's also proof of all the struggle, proof of the tears, the crying, the wanting to give up, right? The belief that the process doesn't fucking work. Okay, that's all there. And it's all beautiful. Like I've said before, my journals are my prized possession. So one day, you guys will get a look at them. I'm going to start maybe publishing some pages. If you think that's a great idea, send me a message. All right? I want to hear from you. You all need to be journaling too. So I'm stacking monumental challenges on myself, right? To see if I can break. And each time, I just keep coming back stronger. Unbreakable. These fucking shoulders, they're conditioned to carry immense weight. My mind, forged to savor the pressure. I crave the fucking strain. I don't ask myself if my schedule can handle it. I don't care if I'm tired. My focus is purely on the savage adaptation waiting on the other side. How will it physically change me, emotionally, spiritually condition me into that unstoppable force I want to become? I am a fucking savage that demands reckoning. Let me just define my baseline as we sit here today, right? My baseline is forged from iron discipline, mixed with relentless intention. It's not about my habits. It's about my identity. It's about waking up and immediately demanding excellence from myself. I refuse to let excuses or comfort enter the equation. It doesn't get a fucking vote. If you let emotion dictate your action, you're fucked. You're so fucked. And then you're like feeding into this, telling your brain it's okay to fucking bail on responsibility. Even with the littlest things. I was telling somebody the other day that if you look in the mirror, right, and you notice you have some scruff on your face and you're like, all right, I need to shave. You like tell yourself in your mind, like, hey, I need to shave. If you don't do it then and now, like right when you have that thought and you walk away and you give it 2 days and you come back to like, oh, geez, I should really shave, right? That time to like forge the mind to like when you don't want to shave, you shave your fucking face when it tells you to do it, right? If you walk away from that and then come back to it and then bail again, it's like, I know it's simple, but I have to bring up the simple tasks because I built all of these simple tasks and then they became greater things, right? I don't want to sit here and give you this grandmaster task, to be like, you have to just do it. It starts with the little shit. It starts with the discipline. It starts with going in the pantry, seeing the bag of chips and making a conscious decision to say, no, I'm not going to eat that. All right. It's the same thing as walking away from shaving your face when you know you fucking need to. All right. You have to do the things you don't want to do when your mind tells you don't want to do them. From the simplest task to the biggest task. All right. Stop making the fucking excuses. Stop letting emotion get involved. I have built my identity around constantly raising the stakes, doing those little small things, refusing to settle. I am always hungry for more. It's raw, it's brutal, and it's the primal essence of self-mastery. My baseline is never fixed. It's a battlefront that I continually start advancing. Every challenge I stack on myself isn't really about seeing if I'll break. Because I know that I won't. I've proven that to myself a million fucking times, and I trust myself. But it's about discovering how much stronger I can become once I survive that. My baseline, as I mentioned, is conditioned shoulders and an unbreakable mind, hardened by the trials that I have intentionally chosen. The spiritual resilience, the emotional grit, and the physical dominance, all converging into a single relentless force. My baseline is fucking savage because I've deliberately designed it that way. I'm not playing fucking games, man. I'm not sitting here talking one thing and going and living another. This is a message to myself. I am documenting my journey of who the fuck I am. I'm redefining it. I'm constantly daring myself to evolve faster, adapt quicker, hit harder. Coaching, mentoring, podcasting, speaking engagements, running operations as a director for a massive company, founding Mindset Mutiny, maintaining a locked-in diet, relentless physical training, disciplined mental conditioning. These are my fucking minimums, my baseline. What does yours look like? This isn't a comparison game. It's not a fucking competition, but I need you to take a look at yours. Somebody asked me the other day, how do you have time to balance all this stuff, Mike? I couldn't answer the fucking question. I just said, I don't know, man, I find a way. You can take that however you want. I find a way. There's no real fucking hacks. Like I'm sure people want to hear, well, I got this schedule, or I use AI to help me schedule my shit, or I use this person to help me this. Nope, I don't do any of that fucking shit. I just find a way. I prioritize. This, what we're doing here, is extremely important to me. This is helping people. And that's what drives me. I'm not here to play games. I'm not here to try to build a big social media following. I'm documenting my journey, and I hope that it helps you. And if it fucking grows, it grows. If it doesn't fucking matter. I am a practitioner of intentional hardship, an architect of ruthless accountability, and a master of controlled chaos. This isn't here for motivation. This is who I am at my core. A relentless, unstoppable force, hardened by choice and fueled by obsession. Most people, they stop at that first level of change. They hit that one goal and they start to get comfortable. But I know that you truly do not understand your potential until you suffer, until you bleed, until you add more weight. I grow by stacking the unbearable. I raise my baseline by doing what feels like it might break me and surviving it. You gotta fucking try it, man. If you really lean in, you'll see what it feels like to be truly alive. That's why I do this shit, man. Like, this is all I live for. The relentless pursuit of being 1% better every single day. And that applies to everything, not just the gym, not just running, not just jiu-jitsu. It applies to making my mind better, to becoming a better person in all aspects, in everything I do. That's what makes me feel alive. I'm building a better person, and I'm trying to share with others how they can do the same. So let's get one thing clear. Your baseline is not your best self. It's your real self. It's who you are on the worst day. It's the raw, unfiltered version of you that still shows up, still performs, still executes without applause, without motivation, without needing to be in the right mindset. Your baseline is the standard you operate from when everything is going wrong, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you got nothing left in the fucking tank. That's when the truth comes out. That's your baseline. That's who you know who you really fucking are. And here's the problem. Most people are living a baseline of survival. Barely getting by. Hitting that snooze button 3 fucking times. Scrolling endlessly for empty dopamine. Eating like shit. Blaming your circumstances. That floor is rock bottom for people that are doing that. And a lot of people have accepted that as normal. But a savage baseline, which is where you need to fucking be, that's different. That's showing up, rain or shine, whether your emotions are aligned or not. It's lifting when your body hurts. It's making the hard calls when your brain is all foggy. It's doing what must be done, not because you feel like it, because it's who you are. It's your identity. Most people confuse goals with identity. They think their ambition will carry them, but it won't. Your life isn't built by what you want. It's built by what you do every day without fail. And that's why baseline matters. Because when shit hits the fan, and it fucking will, you don't rise to the level of your vision board. You fall to the level of your training. So what's your fucking baseline? For real. Be honest. What do you do without fail when no one's watching? I'll pause right there. What do you do without fail when no one's watching? Think about it. If you're doing nothing, or if you only do shit when people are watching, you're fucked. What habits are you having locked in? Do they happen no matter what? So all of that, you might be doing good, you might be doing bad. Whatever it is, whatever that minimum is, that's the floor you're standing on. And if it's weak, the foundation is at risk. But you don't get to skip this. If you want to become something more, it starts with raising that floor. I can promise you, a strong baseline, it's not sexy, man. It's not flashy. It's just non-negotiable. And your baseline will be hard to raise if you crave comfort. And the reason that is comfort's a fucking liar. It whispers. It tells you that you've done enough, that you've earned it, that you can take your foot off the gas. But that voice, remember, that's the same voice that kept you stuck, soft, and average. So what used to feel hard, those early wake-ups, the workouts, the discipline, it all becomes easy if you stick with it long enough. And that's exactly where the trap is. Once something becomes easy, you start coasting, you stop climbing, you start confusing stability with success. The human mind craves stability. But if you want to be great, greatness lives in volatility, in tension, in choosing struggle on purpose. Because when you stop chasing growth, your baseline starts to slip. You stop pushing. You start coasting. And before you even realize it, the floor you worked so hard to build starts to rot beneath you. Most people don't think they can handle more. I get that. I think that all the time. For a second. I used to think it for days. I used to think it for weeks. I used to think it for months. But as I worked deeper on myself and really looked at where I wanted to go, I would be able to kind of slow that down, right? And I'd be like, yes, I can handle more. And I'd have those conversations and I'd start to do things to prove to myself that I can trust myself, that I can do more. And then when that more comes, I can handle it, right? So when it used to take me a month to get over that, now it takes me minutes. Where I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm just trying to seek comfort here. I'm making excuses. I'm feeling bad for myself, right? So I identify that quickly now. And that's the whole point that we're trying to do here is I'm trying to get you to reflect on your life and look at where you've been blocking yourself. All right, we all block ourselves. So this is hopefully to try to wake you up that, hey, listen, if you're having a great few days and you're really doing a lot of shit in 2 days, 3 days, and then you fall off for a week, that's not what's going to get you there. That's not raising your baseline. You have a little fucking blip in your radar. Right? Oop, here we go. We did good. And then we shut it back down again. No, man, it's difficult and it's got to be consistent. There's going to be some days that you think everything's totally fucked. That's sometimes how I operate. I'm like, man, I don't even know how I'm going to get through this day with everything that's stacked on me, with how I'm feeling, but I love that because at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, fuck yeah, we got through it. And then I build a bigger day the next day. Right. So it's kind of cool to see that growth in myself. And I just know that everybody else can do it. I know you all can do the same thing. I'm not special. I'm not super talented where I can just grow. I'm just refusing to take fucking no for an answer. And a lot of you take no. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because I was that guy at some point. And it was just easier. It was like the path of least resistance. That temporary comfort, but man, that temporary comfort built a lot of pain, a lot of anxiety, depression, shit like that, So yeah, like I said, most people, they don't think they can handle more. It's a limitation they put on themselves. It's a story they're telling themselves. It's not true. But that's why they never become anything more. They live under the illusion that they are at capacity. But your capacity will not expand in peace. It only expands under pressure. You grow by doing the things you swear will fucking break you. Most people will be like, I can't handle any more things. I got to wait for everything to calm down before I add more. Add it anyway. Stack the pain, stack the struggle, stack the pressure. And here's the secret. It doesn't break you. It builds you. You suffer, yes, but you survive, you adapt, and then one day you wake up and realize that weight you once feared is now part of you. The extra burden is now your normal. That's how the baseline rises, period. You want to evolve? Start adding the things that make your nervous system panic. Start loading the bar until your legs shake. Because the moment you stop chasing what's hard, you stop chasing what's real. Your old limits, they're waiting to be crushed under the new standard you set if you're willing to bleed for it.